Oh, maybe this is recording. Oh, okay. So, hey, Group 4. So I'm responding to Katie's comment for this week. This week we had 3 readings. One was the Green Book. The other 2 were our articles by, or about Keegan, I guess, not really like by him, but about Keegan and about like student culture. So my favorite was this Keegan article. I just thought that was really interesting, but I can talk about that in a second. First, I'm going to respond to Katie's questions. The first of which was which student groups did I belong to, or which like affinity groups, I guess, did I belong to when I was like a freshman in high school. And then the other one was what would be a way to support students in their freshman year. I guess I'll talk about it at VSU, I guess. But so first, when I was like a freshman in college, I kind of had like a unique experience because I went to a university that was really close to my hometown. So a lot of my friends from high school went to the same university as me. And in high school, we were kind of like really into making poor decisions, I guess would be a good way to say it. But right before I went, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and so I felt like really weird making really poor life choices. So I kind of like fell out with those friends, even though we lived in the same residence hall. Like I just kind of stopped being friends with them. Also, they were all pretty gross people, but I just like kind of changed, and they kind of stayed the same. So I don't know if I really count that as like an affinity group. I mean, we're still sort of friends now, but not really. And then my second peer group from when I was a freshman, I guess what I would have to say, like the people in my residence hall. I don't know. Like this question was really hard for me because I didn't really like my freshman year. I really don't feel like I had like a great peer group. Or just I was kind of like, I did my own thing. I don't know. It wasn't until I was like hired as an RA really in my sophomore year that like I actually made some real friends and like hung out with people and stuff. So I would say the group that had the biggest impact on me would be the friends from high school who, I don't know, there was just like a weird tug of war between like them who I guess wanted to like smoke weed and I don't know, just like do stupid stuff, and me sort of just wanting to be, not like necessarily thinking that that was like a bad thing to do because I was like a part of it in high school, but more just like wanting to be a more responsible person maybe. I don't really know, but I would definitely say that they were the most influential on me. They also like knew my family, so like knew the stuff that my family was going through, so that kind of didn't matter, I guess. They still started being my friend. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's who I would say. My suggestion for, like, supporting students more, which was your other question, I think one way that we could, like, support students, I guess just thinking in, like, the frame of housing and residence life, just because that's, like, how I always, I don't know, I don't have any outside interests. One way that I think we could support students more would be doing some sort of like living together like workshop for roommate pairs. I'm not 100% sure what that would look like, but in my head it's like sort of like a marriage and family therapy, like just let's like talk about things out in the open, because I think a lot of first year students maybe aren't like assertive enough. So maybe it's not that. Maybe it's like assertiveness training for first year students. So I think a lot of like roommate conflicts that we see with first year students stem from them like one person doing something that's kind of mildly annoying, and then the other person never saying that it bothers them, and then it goes on for 4 months and then they're ready to like kill each other, I guess. So I think a way that like maybe a part of orientation or something like that, or like the first week of school training, would be doing like a workshop on how to talk to your roommate, like what are some good ways to say, please stop using my dish soap, before you are ready to kill them 4 months from now. And I think that would, I think roommate conflicts, as much as they seem sort of petty, I think they do take like a lot of energy from students. I think they're super exhausting for them. If you like hate the person that you're living with or hate like going home and stuff, I can only imagine that that would be a super stressful experience and would really take away from like your mental energies elsewhere. So I think it would be a good way to support students in that way. Yeah. The Keegan article, I guess I just wanted to talk about it a little bit since I didn't really like get to reference a lot of readings, I guess, in my post right now. But one thing that I was really thinking about, and like I couldn't not think about, was okay. So moving from like stage 1 to 3 or 2 to 3. So the moving from the durable categories to the cross-categorical thinking. In the article, they give like a age that they believe that this is going to happen, like 12 to 20-ish. And I was wondering what happens when people don't make that transition, I guess. Like what happens if an adult makes it to 20 and like hasn't made that like ability to think about the community as a whole. And this, I guess, was like coming into my head because my uncle, this is just like a random family story, my uncle recently got into trouble for like not paying his taxes, and it reminded me so much of like the scenario where they had the kid with the stereo who's playing it super loud. Like I think because they're like sort of like the kid wants the stereo to be loud. My uncle doesn't want to pay his taxes, I guess. So they're both very self-centered. And they're sort of like victimless crimes, like nobody else in the hall is going to flunk out of college because this kid was listening to a stereo for 15 minutes too loud. And, you know, they're not going to like be slashing government programs because my uncle didn't pay his taxes. So they're sort of like, in your head, you can sort of justify them. But in the same time, you're not thinking about like the community as a whole and not like considering the feelings or the way that someone else would feel about that. So this was just like a clear example of like my uncle who's like 65 or something, not making that transition to like the third stage, like still being that second stage. So I guess I just was like feeling weird about there being an age limit to it. Anyway, so I'm at like 7 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'll stop talking. Have a good week, everyone.